Hey, welcome to another episode of the D&V Show. आज का टॉपिक है VIP culture और we'll kind of contrast how VIP culture exists in India और कैसे US में हमारी जर्नी रही है and why we think that maybe it's worth considering or maybe if it's not worth considering, at least comparing how VIP culture impacts people that don't have connections, that maybe are from the lower echelon of society. Especially with the way we started here, which was probably middle class when we first came to the US. और थोड़ा US का contrast बताएंगे, India का obviously a lot of you know that, लेकिन we'll probably define it. So yeah, I guess Vandan, what's been your experience coming here? Just comparing VIP culture in India to how it was in the US.
Like one obvious difference, it's not that visible. Last time मैंने कब वीआईपी को देखा था इधर, आई कांट रिमेंबर.
प्रेसिडेंट आता है तो भी लोग बोलते हैं why is there traffic, why is there a traffic jam, because they don't even care for the president.
I'll be honest with you, मैं कैलिफोर्निया में था उस टाइम. I'm pretty sure Trump or some president, maybe ओबामा. मैं कॉलेज में था, फुलरटन नियर एलए. एंड उस टाइम के ना मैं यूएस पॉलिटिक्स में इतना आई वाजंट इन्वॉल्व और मैं इतना देखता नहीं था, इंडिया का ही ज़्यादा फॉलो करता था, देखता था. तो कॉलेज में दोपहर को ऐसी बात हो रही है तो लोग बात कर रहे थे, अच्छा ये ओबामा इज इन टाउन, वो कुछ तो था सोलर प्लांट का या कुछ था, आई वेगली रिमेंबर. तो देन आई केम टू नो कि अच्छा प्रेसिडेंट आए टाउन में. मैं वो
it's just not a thing, right?
पता ही नहीं था.
It's actually funny, जब US का प्रेसिडेंट इंडिया जाता है, so I was in India when I was a young child when Bill Clinton had come to India. तो मुंबई में they had just blocked off pretty much everything from like मालबार हिल से लेके पूरा नरीमन पॉइंट तक सब ब्लॉक करके रखा था until the convoy goes. यहाँ पे कोई इतना नहीं करता. यहाँ पे होता है तो they'll probably have like maybe a half a mile, but it's not a blockade across.
होती होंगी, but it's not that visible, that whole town would know about it.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty much like something that like in India we just assume that VIP culture is everywhere, right? Like, I mean, from something as simple as going to a temple, getting admission, going to, commercial engagement, सब जगह पे VIP का है. And I think, look, some of it US में भी है, right? For example, you go to Disney, you can pay extra money and then you can skip the lines and things like that, right? लेकिन वो
But that's for everyone.
It's for everybody. It's very clearly advertised. I think that's part of the difference, right? कि India में, like, I think there is this concept where a VIP is not just about money. I think it's about influence, what I call social capital, right?
Yes.
For example, let's say you're a nurse and you work at a very prestigious hospital. The fact that people know you work there means that they will feel that they can get some connections or better service or maybe some help at a time, when they would really need it. And so that means that you might get a little bit better treatment when you in your neighborhood, in your area. यहाँ पे that does not exist. I have not seen that to the same extent. Maybe I shouldn't say it doesn't exist. Maybe it's not even close to the same extent. Yes, people want to know and they want to associate themselves with you, लेकिन not explicitly with the intent के ओके मैं ये हॉस्पिटल में जाऊंगा तो बिकॉज मुझे ये नर्स पता है मुझे अच्छी सर्विस मिलेगी या कोई मेरे साथ कुछ गलत नहीं करेगा. यहाँ पे सबके लिए यूनिवर्सली है फॉर द मोस्ट पार्ट. कनेक्शंस डू टेंड टू हेल्प यू, ऑब्वियसली नेटवर्किंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट, लेकिन इट्स नॉट इवन क्लोज टू द सेम एक्सटेंट और नेसेसरी. वहाँ पे कभी कभी आई रिमेंबर देयर इज अ सेंस दैट आपको अपना नेटवर्क बनाना है अगर आपको लाइफ में ऊपर जाना है तो उसके बिना इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गेट अहेड.
एज एन इंट्रोवर्ट इट्स हार्ड टू सर्वाइव इन इंडिया. दैट्स अनदर ऑब्जर्वेशन.
यस,
क्योंकि you wouldn't have any connections or I don't know, it's very hard. और हाँ, एक आप जैसे मेडिकल सेक्टर की बात की आपने, राइट? या it's very obvious in India, like you would ask for opinions, like tell me a good doctor or if you know anyone, or इधर I don't remember.
You go on Google, you look at the
reviews देखेगा,
and then you go to the doctor. Yeah, you might ask someone, just because it's if you know someone, but most people you just
मैं आज तक I don't remember asking anyone कि भाई ये डॉक्टर which one would you recommend?
And it hasn't made an impact in the quality of service that you got, or even if you knew someone, like even
it
if you
doesn't
went,
matter.
Like I remember sometimes we'd go to the doctor, right? We're like, hey, our friends recommended you. They're like, oh, that's nice. That's it. It ends there.
But khatam.
Right? Like nothing beyond that as far as, why did they, who is that? Oh, okay, I know. Like none of that relation. Even the other side doesn't do the relationship building.
मतलब कोई तुम्हारा चाइल्डहुड बंदा है, तुम स्कूल में साथ गए, वो एक अलग बात है, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग, राइट? बट 95% ऑफ केसेस इट वुडंट इवन मैटर. हाँ.
And I think sort of the part that both of us want to talk about here is how I think the fact that it's a very merit-based society, not 100% obviously, right?
No,
yes, even here, once you get to maybe your state senate or you get to politics, or if you are worth maybe 50 million or more, you will have more connections, right? But I think it's very much in the extreme high end of society from a net worth standpoint, or maybe you have to be really, really famous, right? But I think that's the difference, is that average people like us don't have to worry about, like, we're not from the country. When we came here, we didn't know, maybe we knew one or two people that used to live here, right? But we didn't have any connections, but we were still able to just move up solely based on merit. And I think that's something that I find very difficult to think if I was to, reverse it, right? Where maybe if I was an American going there, like, or maybe a Desi American going to India, it might be a little bit more challenging.
और merit based में भी I would like to make a point. I mean that's a issue in itself and we can have a whole podcast on it. But मुझे personally ऐसा लगता है, when I came here in 2007, America was even more merit based than it is today.
Absolutely.
इधर भी वो थोड़ा बहुत घुस चुका है अभी identity ये वो. We don't want to get into details, but
it's a separate episode.
हाँ, वो दो that was like pure merit based, and I loved it. I fell in love with that system. तुम कहाँ से आए हो, तुम्हारे पिताजी के पास क्या है, नहीं है, what is your skin color, didn't matter.
It was objective assessment.
If you could do the job, you are the best person for the job. That's it. I loved that time. I mean, abhi bhi comparatively it is merit based, but it is declining.
And I think it's interesting that I think the push with all of these OTT platforms and all of these ideas, like from the West, that are moving towards India, right? I think they are bringing the younger generation towards these concepts of objective assessment. It's actually funny where I think the West is moving more towards the concepts of, VIP culture, like special treatment for certain things based on different, attributes or whatever background elements. But let me ask you one thing, right, about the VIP culture. Have you ever noticed how your office colleagues, have you ever had office colleagues that have traveled to India? And how so I'll tell you my example. Okay, so I remember we worked with two companies, both of them have had people in India, right? So it's funny because when our folks from here go to India, they get completely like flattered because everybody wants to talk to them, meet them, greet them, and they are no special. Okay, like I myself once went as just a manager. They had a literal poster, a 6-foot poster of me at the front of the building, just because I happened to come. This is coincidentally, I was there at the same time that one of our executives was there. But I'm just an average person, and I didn't even go with the executive. It was just coincidence. So they assumed that there's an expectation on my end that I would get the same treatment. Now, obviously, we welcome all of our guests and things like that. I get that. The problem is people expect that VIP treatment when they come here. And here, I mean, I've had executives come here from abroad. I don't even bother going to the office if I'm working from home that day. Like, there's no expectation at all, right? And I think, so some of this is obviously merit. Some of this is hierarchy in society. But it's just interesting how, there's such a contrast. And it's funny how like both sides are kind of converging at some point, maybe in a couple of years, the US is more going towards this VIP culture. Whereas India is moving more towards merit.
But आपने initially when you started asking this question, right, there was a smile on my face, and what I kind of anticipated that you would ask, like इधर आपके मैनेजर हैं और आप हैं, और आप कैसे ट्रीट करते हो मैनेजर को इधर और इंडिया में. तो I had a smile on my face कि like भाई मेरा मैनेजर तो ऐसा है कि भाई लगता ही नहीं मैनेजर है, right? मैं work from home obviously, but we have one-on-ones, we have a lot of meetings. एक आध बार हम ऐसे ही just to get everyone face to face, मैं LA भी गया था ऑफिस में. You can disagree with him.
Oh yeah, हायरार्की बहुत फ्लैट है ना, मतलब वो इतना इंडिया का हायरार्की इतना है, मतलब बहुत लेयर्स है. फॉर एग्जांपल नॉट ऑफिशियल लेयर्स, राइट, लेकिन इन्फ्लुएंस के
बनाए हुए दिमाग में क्रिएट किए हुए.
पीपल लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल मैं तो गरीब आदमी हूँ, मैं मिडिल क्लास हूँ, मैं कैसे ये पॉलिटिशियन से बात कर सकता हूँ। यहाँ पे प्रेसिडेंट के मुंह पे जाके लोग गाली बकते हैं, बिकॉज द हायरकी इज वेरी फ्लैट. नॉट नाउ, देयर आर यूरोपियन कंट्रीज दैट आर इवन फ्लैटर देन अस. लाइक आई फाइंड, फॉर एग्जांपल, my Dutch team thinks that our American setup is a bit more hierarchical. Theirs is even more flatter than ours, right? So obviously every place is different. But absolutely, I think.
Or like you can disagree with him. You don't have to be extra polite.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes manager would ask, how did this happen, or some question about some quarter, and we would obviously say, I don't know. I mean, nahi pata.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing that somewhere back home? तो तू कर क्या रहा है भाई? तेरे को ये नहीं पता? और another interesting segue. ये colleges में I came here for bachelor's, right? और आप तो इधर ही like you might relate. भाई कॉलेज में लिटरली प्रोफेसर, और वो भाई बंदा ऐसा भी नहीं कि आजकल का ही वाज 40 इयर्स एक्सपीरियंस भाई, उसने पेटेंट बना रखी है. IBM, मतलब आई वाज इन सैन जोसे स्टेट, राइट? तो उधर कंपनी सिलिकॉन में, वो तो अच्छी कंपनी, क्योंकि इधर मोस्ट ऑफ द प्रोफेसर्स, लाइक द गुड वंस, दे आर पार्ट टाइम प्रोफेसर्स, राइट? वो कहीं और कुछ रिसर्च कर रहे होंगे या काम कर, तो कभी बड़ी कंपनी में. और इधर किसी बंदे ने, आई डोंट नो हु इट वाज, किसी ने सवाल पूछा तो प्रोफेसर ने, दैट्स अ गुड क्वेश्चन, आई डोंट नो, I would have to think about it.
And you call him by his name. Which the first time I had to call my boss with, like, usually, you learn, sir, ma'am. Now, we do it out of respect, obviously. Yahan pe, I was scolded by my first manager in my corporate job. Please stop calling me sir. It is insulting to me. I was like, okay. He's like, the only people you call sir are when you are younger, or it's out of respect. There is nothing here in our hierarchy that justifies you calling me sir. And obviously, I didn't even bother calling my, my female boss ma'am after that. But I thought that was weird, and I had to explain to him that it's just expected. Forget corporate. Like, I mean, you learn from a young age, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. Respect is important. It's a core part of Indian culture. We get it.
You have to realize cultural differences.
Yeah, but
culture shock. Ki bhai, acha.
Exactly.
Aise bhi hai.
Exactly. But there's one last point I want to make, right? Before we wrap this up. Do you think VIP culture steals from people that don't have connections? And because I have a theory on this, that every single time you get an exception to whatever process it is, like let's say you go to a temple and you want to pray, for example, right? You don't have to stand in line. Why? Because you know the priest's brother or someone, and you kind of get the special treatment, and you didn't pay any money. It's not about money, okay? Sometimes there's official stuff where you can pay, but there are plenty of places where, because of influence, you get to cut the line, or you don't have to worry about as many obstacles. I think that every time you do that, you are stealing either time, energy, effort, money, or whatever it is from someone else who does not have that. And it kind of sets this chain reaction where everybody is not trying to get that. For example, if you go to a temple and the lines are long, right? It disincentivizes people that have the capability to actually work on improving things, whether you participate and you vote a certain way to get those things improved, or you donate money to get the facilities where they have the ability to set things up correctly. That it's almost like you're stealing in some ways when you take a VIP benefit that's not available to everybody, or that's not openly advertised to everybody.
Like, मेरा opinion तो मतलब मेरा ऐसा सोचना है कि we are still a young country, if you think about it.
India, you mean?
India. I mean, I'm Indian citizen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a US citizen, so.
Hello, yeah. So, India, when I say we, it means India. So, we are still a young country. 75 years is not a lot. और समाज को कल्चर वैसे ही मिलता है जो समाज होता है भाई. तो I cannot just say कि हाँ ये सब खराब है. I mean, yeah, we can talk about it, we discuss it and compare it, but I cannot just, get away by saying that अरे अच्छा ये खराब है. But I'm part of that. ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरा कोई हिस्सा नहीं.
We've all done it.
हम जैसे होते हैं वैसे ही कंट्री होता है, समाज होता है. तो ऐसे तो नहीं बोल सकते कि भाई हम तो बहुत अच्छे हैं और ये सब खराब हो रहा है इसलिए हम तो आ गए. ऐसे नहीं है. और societies do evolve. ऐसा नहीं है. तो looking at the bright side, things are improving. मतलब
Absolutely.
पहले जो 20, 25, 30 साल पहले की कहानियां हैं वो अब नहीं है.
Yes. For sure.
And democracy gives you that power. तो I would जिस तरह की नेबरहुड में हम हैं और जिस तरह की हमारी डाइवर्सिटी और हिस्ट्री, आई वुड रियली सल्यूट इंडिया दैट वी स्टिल हैव अ थ्राइविंग डेमोक्रेसी. इट्स अ प्रिविलेज दैट वी डू नॉट अप्रिशिएट इट, बट वो बहुत बड़ी बात है. वी आर स्टिल अ वेरी thriving democracy and very healthy democracy. So it gives you a scope as a society to improve, right? Like अगर लार्जर ग्रुप डिसाइड करे कि नहीं हमें ऐसे ही करना है, वो धीरे धीरे ही होगा. ऐसा नहीं कि एक जन डिसाइड कर ले, बट एज अ सोसाइटी व्हेन यू आर अ डेमोक्रेसी यू गेट टू अग्री डिसअग्री, बट देन यू फाइंड अ वे. और जैसे जैसे व्हेन यू गेट अहेड इन योर जर्नी, इकोनॉमीज बिकम बेटर, ग्लोबल, बिकॉज ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन यू रियलाइज योर पोटेंशियल. तो वो चीज़ें हो सकती है, सुधरेगी. बट हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. अब ये इन सिस्टम्स में जिनके पास who are historically disadvantageous groups, उनको दिक्कत आएगी इनमें. कि लाइक जिनके पास जो प्रिविलेजेस सदियों से रहे हैं या फैमिलीज के साथ रहे हैं, तो उनके लिए चीज़ें आज भी आसान हैं और रहेगी. तो जो बंदा स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम ज़ीरो, उसके लिए चैलेंजेस तो है, पर यू डोंट गिव अप. हाँ, यू हैव टू बी रिजिलियंट. और हैं स्टोरीज बहुत है, इंडिया में भी बहुत स्टोरीज है.
Absolutely.
Even through these systems, these challenges, स्टार आए हैं भाई. विराट कोहली इज अ ग्रेट एग्जाम्पल. ही वॉज प्योरली मिडिल क्लास, बट बंदे ने, मतलब माइंडसेट ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि अरे मैं तो बेचारा हूँ, विक्टिम हूँ, मेरे पास कुछ नहीं, मैं कुछ
Absolutely.
वो माइंडसेट से कुछ ना हो पाएगा. भले वो सब है, उसके बाद भी करना ही होगा. देन यू बिकम विराट कोहली लाइक दैट. तो पर हाँ, वो मुश्किलें आती हैं. तो टू कंक्लूड, आई डोंट गो ऑन, कि हाँ, मेरी स्टोरी मुझे इंडिया में रेप्लिकेट करने में 1000 times इट वुड हैव बीन टफर. ये लाइफस्टाइल और जहाँ मैं आज पहुँचा हूँ, वो मुझे अगर इंडिया में करना होता विदाउट कनेक्शंस, 1000 times टफर. आई हैव नो डाउट अबाउट इट.
All right. Well, I guess we'll leave you guys on that note. Thank you again for watching, and then we'll see you in the next episode.